Dad!
Yeah, Peanut?
You remember how we just found each other and you decided that we should go fight this Pokemon causing this huge storm?
Well, I actually didn't want to get you
And then
involved.
we called Professor Nichols and Pierce, and they said it was probably a Mega Gyarados who was going to destroy the ship in our whole city.
Yeah, I do think he kind of asked us to deal with this without actually asking us
And then
to.
we got into your speedboat and met the gym leader and his big turtle, and now he's going to help us?
That dude is doing so many flips.
And also there's bad guys from Team Nasty who definitely don't like me right on our tail.
Oh, I see them, and they're going down.
Good, glad you remember. Silly,
Or.
let's do this thing.
Or. Pearl, where last we left off, you, Captain Ron, and Luca were speeding toward this Alpha Mega Gyarados out in the sea beyond Portobello Port in the SS Wave Smasher, along with Lawrence, the Portobello gym leader who was windsurfing on his Caracosta named Tito and who has been recruited to help you. As you were making your way toward this awful beast lurking in the water, seeing its massive sail-like fins poking out amongst the waves and the whirlpools and the lightning and the wind, you noticed that coming up from behind, rapidly approaching, were 4 what looked like chariots on the water being pulled by aquatic Pokemon. Their riders, members of Team Nasty, specifically Waylon, the Snag admin, along with Bob, Thwomp, and Tiny Tim.
No.
So, as everyone is headed toward this prized beast, go ahead and roll initiative.
Woo! Here we go, guys. I have an 8. Oh, sorry, +1, 9.
All right, 9. Go ahead and roll for Luca as well.
All right, he rolled a 7.
All right, with initiative rolled, our order is going to be Pearl, Captain Ron, Waylon, Luca, Tiny Tim, Lawrence, and then Bob and Thwomp bringing up the rear. So, Pearl, you have a moment as they are approaching to decide how you want to go about this. What do you want to do?
Listen, Luca, I know this might be crazy, but what if we actually let them fight this Pokemon with us? And then, when we look like we could get an upper hand, then go after them.
Worth the shot. I don't know if Bob, Thwomp, and Tim are going to be too friendly, but we can try.
Is there a way for me to ensure that they don't sneak up on us?
To ensure that they don't sneak up on you?
Yeah, like if we keep going ahead, can we make sure that they don't get to?
I think that both parties are very aware of each other, if that makes sense. Like if anybody tries anything at the other group, everybody's going to be aware of what's going on. Nobody would sneak up on the other.
Can I get Coconut out?
Sure.
Is that going to take a move, or can I just have...
No, this is like as they are approaching and you're deciding what to do, and it's just that you are at the top here. But you have this moment. You saw them approaching from far enough away with your 12 that you've got a second to decide how you're going to go about this, especially since you had not engaged in combat with the Gyarados yet.
Yeah, no, this is a crazy opinion, but I think we're going to actually try to have them help us.
If you think so.
Believe me, most of my instincts are telling me this is a bad idea. Let's just see what happens. If they hit us, they hit us.
Okay, so you're just gonna go for the Gyarados and just see how it goes. All right, cool. Well then, as you continue speeding forward, is Party Pete going to try to get up close to the Gyarados?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and just roll for him to approach, making a steering roll here to avoid the obstacles and things. So go ahead and roll just with a +2 for Party Pete.
That's an 8.
Okay, so it expends part of Ron's action for his turn, since Party Pete is the one who's driving, to get closer, but you are able to pull up along the side of the Gyarados before it is able to wheel around on this very fast boat.
Nice.
So, what would you like to do now that it is your turn?
I would like to give it a Thunderbolt.
Okay, cool. So as you are approaching, just the Thunderbolt cracks down.
Don't eat us forever. ever.
Okay, so is Coconut flying up above or is he in the boat with you?
Up above.
Okay, cool. So Coconut is up in the air and goes for the Thunderbolt. Go ahead and roll to hit.
So it's a 10.
10. Okay, 10 is going to be a full success. So go ahead and roll 4d6 for the damage.
Okay, it's a 12.
Okay, 12 from the damage.
Do I add anything?
Yes, you will, because it was a full success. You're going to add Coconut's special attack, stab, and also his damage from the magnet. So that is going to be 6 plus 2 plus another 2. So plus 10 damage.
All right, 22.
22 points as this lightning cracks down onto the Gyarados, letting it know very much that you are here. That's 22 minus its special defense. So that is going to be 17 double to 34 points of damage.
Nice.
A solid hit as Coconut launches off that Thunderbolt. I also forgot to say where the Gyarados was in initiative. It is between Luca and Tiny Tim. Cool. That is your main action on your turn. That it for you, Pearl?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. That will then take us to Ron, who, since Party Pete is driving, he is going to have another one of his Pokemon here for the battle. He says, all right, come on, Muscle Man. And he sends out his Ludicolo.
Such a great team.
Ludicolo, who, as he dances about the place on the deck of the speedboat here.
I think Ludicolo's musical theater audition song is The Bare Necessities.
Yes, either that or something from Escape to Margaritaville.
That's the musical he's always auditioning for.
Yes, exactly. From a distance here, he's going to just start off going for a Giga Drain. So go ahead and roll for him to hit. Go +2.
8.
8. All right, a mixed success there. Okay, so that's a base 14 minus its special defense, so it is going to be 9 double to 18 points of damage.
Nice. Good hit, Dad!
Thanks, kiddo. Get him, Muscle Man. That is Ron's turn, as he doesn't have any kind of extra action there. Since he doesn't have any kind of extra action because he used it as Party Pete was making his way through the difficult terrain of the Whirlpool. Which reminds me, since it is raining, water, electric, and bug type moves can roll twice and take the higher results. So go ahead and actually roll one more time the 4d6 to see if you got higher than the 12.
No, I didn't.
Okay, cool. So just remember it for next time.
Sure will.
But due to the rain, all of those electric moves have more potency
Love that.
from the wet. Okay, that is Ron's turn, though, which is going to take us to Waylon, who, as they are off a ways here, I've got some minis loosely sprawled out here on the table. As you all are over here next to the big old Gyarados, his Sharpedo is, as I mentioned earlier, looks extra pointy and also very fast. As it moves and then rushes as its extra action, it then comes up and attempts to chomp the back flank of this Mega Gyarados with a Poison Fang, which is going to hit with a full success and deal a base of 19 lower to 14 points of damage. As Waylon is up here in the mix near y'all, he's come up and you're on the same side currently, the left side of the Gyarados. You get a ping that goes off on your aura reader, and you see that he has also released into this chariot with him a shift tree with a shadowy aura about it.
Ooh.
Who then appears as though it is getting ready to hop onto the Gyarados. That is Waylon's turn, as that will then take us to Luca. What is he going to do as Mikey is currently up front?
Let's try to use hypnosis on this.
Okay, so
Gyarados. Oh, man. I hope you got a nice lullaby here, Mikey, because you're going to need a hefty lullaby. I want all the tiny little band instruments.
Okay, so Mikey the Gengar flies up from the SS Wave Crasher and zips around to the front of the Gyarados and just Hey there, big guy. And wub attempts to use hypnosis, so the Gyarados is going to make a tough it out roll. The Gyarados does not have high instinct.
Oh, no.
So that is actually a 6. The Gyarados is going to be drowsy
Yeah.
for 3 rounds.
Beautiful. What does drowsy do?
The drowsy status effect has replaced asleep so that it's not quite as busted.
Sure.
As
I always thought just in Pokemon in general, the sleep factor was busted.
Yes, so for the sake of keeping things moving in the land of tabletop, I've adjusted it to drowsy, just like I've adjusted frozen to frostbitten, like it is in Pokemon Legends Arceus, just to keep things rolling here. But the drowsy status effect, the Pokemon that inflicts this effect rolls a d6 to determine how many rounds the opposing Pokemon stays drowsy, which will be at least for 1 full round. At the beginning of each of its turns, a drowsy Pokemon has to roll 1d6. On a roll of 1, 2, or 3, that Pokemon is unable to move or take any actions, and attacks against a drowsy Pokemon are made at advantage, and a drowsy Pokemon has disadvantage to tough it out plus might or agility. If it rolls a 6, it ends the drowsiness early. But essentially, he has partially subdued this massive beast, and you actually can tell that like the waves lull down a little bit.
Good.
It's not quite as intense out here as it is now drowsy. But that is Luca's turn with Mikey then, which will then take us to the Gyarados, who rolled a 5, so is going to act on his turn. And since Coconut has done the most damage to it thus far,
Bye-bye,
the Alpha Mega Gyarados is going to attempt to use Dark Pulse, which is going to come out to a 9.
Mixed success.
So the damage for that Dark Pulse is going to be a base of 22 on the mixed success, minus Coconut special defense, which is
6.
Okay, so that is going to be 16, double to 32 points of super effective damage to Coconut.
Okay. Not a big fan.
That is its turn, as it is then Tiny Tim's turn, as it appears as though the grunts are attempting to catch up with their boss, who is very fast. He is approaching, and off from the distance, it looks like he's got the Trubbish there in the chariot with him, and since they were kind of far away, doesn't have too much it can do besides just continue making its approach. But they actually start going more toward the SS Wave Smasher.
No, not okay.
It is then going to be Lawrence's turn, who just shouts out, "Oi, who's this lot?"
They're not good, man. Hey, I guess that clears out his motives.
Well, there you go. If you say they're not good, man, then he is going to rush over here, having the Caracosta Aqua Jet towards Bob and Thwomp, coming up that way. And as the Caracosta shoots over toward the Team Nasty Grunts, he's going to shoot an Ice Beam at, let's see, odds is Bob, evens is Thwomp. It was even, so he's going to go after Thwomp. So the chariot that is being pulled by this Whalmer, he's going to shoot the Ice Beam with a full success, is going to hit and deal damage to that Whalmer. That is the end of Lawrence's turn, which will then take us to Bob and then Thwomp, as they start to attempt to flank Lawrence here, getting on each side of him. Bob, who has his Electrode, his Voltorb has evolved, goes to shoot off a Charge Beam at the Caracosta. Ooh, with a critical hit, and it is super effective as
he's watertight.
here in the water, this massive charge of electric energy makes direct contact, and it appears that Lawrence gets a jolt as well as he's standing on the shell of the Caracosta.
Oh, no.
But a good little chunk of damage there. That is Bob's turn, as Thwomp has Swalot, and it goes to shoot some sludge off at the Caracosta as well, using a sludge bomb. That is going to be a mixed success, and it is not very effective. But all in all, a little chunk of damage done to Lawrence's Caracosta there. That will then take us all the way back up top to you, Pearl. It is your turn, and it appears as though your old friends, Bob Thwomp and Tiny Tim, are not here to play nice. As Tiny Tim has now encroached in y'all's zone up here, the aura reader pings again, and the Azumarill that is pulling Tiny Tim's chariot is giving off a shadowy aura. It looks familiar. It is one that you have seen before in Criminy City.
Oh, no. So is he fighting with that one, or is it just pulling?
That one appears to be doing the pulling, while the Trubbish is the one who's doing more of the fighting right now.
The Trubbish.
As he's approached here and y'all are getting surrounded, Captain Ron says, "Hey, Pearl, you know how I said you weren't going to get off the boat unless it was an emergency?
Yeah, Dad.
I'll consider this an emergency."
Cowabunga! I like to imagine that Coconut picks me up and Rai chews, and we do a little wave moment together.
Yes, you
as
can.
I hop off the boat.
You hop off, and I assume Sealy is released from her Pokeball, and you now ride upon Sealy.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
Since Coconut can't fully carry you, but he can help you do a sweet little flip as you land on your aquatic mount here.
TBT when Coconut caught me.
It was a very good roll. So the choice is yours if you would like to continue battling the Gyarados more so and letting Ron and them deal with Nasty, or vice versa. Up to you.
I guess I'll just Thunderbolt Tiny Tim.
Thunderbolt the mount, the Azumarill.
Yeah, I guess I'll shoot the Azumarill.
Okay, so you're going to try to use Thunderbolt on the Azumarill who is pulling the chariot. So go ahead and roll to hit.
That's a flat 10.
Flat 10. Excellent. That is going to be solid damage against the Azumarill. I've simplified everybody who's not you or the Gyarados. So you do a good chunk of damage to the Azumarill. Okay, that is your main action on your turn then?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so you are now out of the SS Wave Smasher here toward the front end of the Gyarados. That is your turn, which is then going to take us to Ron. Now that you are out of the boat, he is going to wheel it around closer to Tiny Tim here, inserting himself between you and Tim, and is going to have Ludicolo use Energy Ball. Go ahead and roll for Ludicolo.
Okay. 10.
10, a full success. Very nice. With that, as it is another super effective move, I'm using the simplified health here. So for any of the Pokemon who, are not the Alpha Mega Gyarados, we're not rolling for their damage and things. So instead, their base health is their HP plus their Evo tier plus their Vitality score, and then the damage is matching the Pokemon's move tier. If it's super effective or if the weather's helping it, those both deal an extra 1 damage. If it's not very effective, it deals 1 less. And on a 10 plus, you can do a little extra. So all of that to say, with his roll, it's enough with a super effective move that would KO Tiny Tim's Azumarill. And as Tiny Tim goes to call it back, you have a moment where you can attempt to snag it if you would like.
Absolutely.
All right, go ahead and roll.
Okay, it's a flat 4.
Oh, a flat 4. Okay.
What could I add?
Since you're using the snag machine, you do not have disadvantage from it being knocked out. So you would add, what kind of Pokeball were you using?
Just probably a Great Ball.
Okay, a Great Ball, so it's giving you a +1. So as you throw the Great Ball, you've got +3 from it being at no health and disregarding the fact that it's knocked out. You've got an extra +1 from the Great Ball, and you've got -2 from it being an A3 Pokemon. So all in all comes out to a +2, so it would be a 6 as you throw this Great Ball.
Hey, Dad, in the letter when I said I have a robot arm, look!
Oh, that's neat. But with your 6, as you throw the ball, it does not find purchase on
Man,
the
that's what I
Azumarill.
get for talking about my robot arm with my dad. Can I make it my mixed success of the day? I don't think it would change anything.
Taking it to a flat 7 would only get you to a 9, which is not going to be enough for this one. But as you miss, Luca is also going to throw a ball.
Good.
Which ball from his inventory would you like him to throw?
Dad, check this out. I'm robot and robot. Hey, hey. Oh, darn it. Focus Pearl.
Focus up! Which ball is he going to use?
A netball.
Okay, so Luca, with his robot arm, also goes to throw a ball, but he throws a net ball, which is going to give a +2 as it is a water-type Pokemon. So Luca is going to throw this net ball. Go ahead and roll for Luca.
That's a flat 6.
A flat 6. Okay, so +3 from it being low, but then -2, so that gets him a +1. He's got a +2 from the net ball, and then the last +1 from it being one of his favored types, being a water type Pokemon, gets him to just barely a 10. So
Yeah.
as Tiny Tim does a last-minute yank of the reins to pull it out of the way from your ball, Lucas does find purchase as he's still on the SS Wave Crasher and has a cleaner shot.
Luca has a robot arm too.
The Azumarill gets sucked up into it, and the ball shakes once, twice, a third time, and clicks as Luca then reaches out and scoops it out of the water.
Robot 5. Bing.
From a distance, as you are not in the boat. But that is what happens on Ron's turn, because Ron is the one who just shot that energy ball at it. So Tiny Tim is now in a spot where his chariot is just sort of floating there in the water, but he doesn't have much of anywhere to go.
You're an island.
That then takes us to Waylon, who is going to move away from the Gyarados atop the Sharpedo here, getting some distance and wheeling around and seeing what's happening with the SS Wave Crasher over here. He looks with a snarl, but before he leaves the range of the Gyarados, the shadowy Shift Tree hops off of the chariot and lands atop the back of the Gyarados. It then goes to use Leaf Blade, just slashing the back of the Gyarados as it is between the fins. The sail-like fins. That is going to be a full success with an 11 for the Shift Tree. The Shift Tree goes to slice against the Gyarados with what looks like what you've seen before as a Leaf Blade, as it is something that Tarzan has done on multiple occasions, a move that is familiar to you, but the leaves do have this shadowy aura upon them as it slices down. And the Gyarados feels the pain on its back. Okay, that is a base of 26 damage.
Wow, that's impressive.
As that will be reduced to 21, but then doubled to 42 points.
Wow. See, I'm not upset with this thing helping us right now.
That is going to be Waylon's turn, though, as he wheels around there. Actually, no, it's not, because rather than coming over to the side here, the Sharpedo is going to Aqua Jet directly towards the SS Wave Smasher,
Whoa, choose your roll.
knocking into it, ramming the boat.
How dare you?
As it gets closer, you see that it appears to have a glowing stone atop it. That is an 11, a natural 11 to hit the SS Wave Smasher. So poof, this pointy Sharpedo just rocks into the side of the boat. Some of the serrated edges of these spikes that are coming off its side scrape the side, and Ron's like, okay, all right.
You better have boater insurance because that's an expensive fix right there. And we're expecting it.
As the Sharpedo has approached, and as this Shift Tree used its shadowy Leaf Blade attack against the Gyarados, it now lifts its head out of the water fully. You see its awful gaping maw. It has even larger head spikes than a normal one, and a spike that almost looks like a goatee kind of thing coming off of its chin. But in the middle of its forehead, in the center of its 3 spikes, you see what looks like a glowing gem that is this perfect spherical shape.
And Bingo was its name. Oh,
On the Sharpedo, there is a matching one.
oh no.
Don't want that now.
That was Waylon's turn, as he has, in fact, rocked the boat, which brings us to Luca, who's like, all right, exit strat, here we go. Luca's going to hop off the SS Wave Smasher onto Toofus, and what would you like for him to do? He can keep on with Mikey, or he can attempt to do something else, swapping out to somebody or whatever the case may be.
I think it's time to swap.
Okay, so swapping out to whom?
Tarzan.
Okay, so he's going to swap out to Tarzan as his main action. He can put Tarzan, as he releases him from the ball, also atop the back of the Gyarados, if you would like.
Yes.
Great. So Tarzan is up on the back of the Gyarados along with the Shift Tree, as Luca is now riding on Toofus. That is his main action, but Tarzan does have some mastered moves that he could use in an agile style if you would like.
Absolutely.
Cool. What would you like him to use?
Let's do X Scissor.
All right, cool. X Scissor. Go ahead and roll to hit with X Scissor.
Oh, flat 10. Booyah.
Flat 10. Excellent. Go ahead and roll 2d6 for your agile style X Scissor. Roll it twice and take the higher because the bug type moves are enhanced in the rain.
Wow, 2 6s, a 12.
Oh, nice. Okay, so even with less dice, max damage, so 12 plus his 8 attack. Excellent, excellent. So that is going to be 20 base points of damage.
Nice.
Minus the Mega Gyarados' defense, so that is going to be 15, but doubled to 30 super effective points of bug damage as the bug is super effective against dark.
I feel like we're all getting chunky hits on this thing.
You are! That is Lucas turned in as he's used all of his actions and things. Meanwhile, the Gyarados is going to use Hurricane.
Dun, dun, dun.
Attempting to get, let's see here. Just go ahead and roll 1d6. Odds he goes to use it on Tarzan. Evens is Shift Tree.
Shift Tree, 4.
Okay, 4. So it's going to go to use Hurricane on Shift Tree. Has advantage to hit in rain, so have fun. It's a natural 10.
Yeah.
On a natural 10 or higher, the opponent becomes confused as well. So this is going to be gross. Since Shift Tree is using the simplified health right now, from its base amount that it has, it's going to lose over half.
Yeah.
And it's confused now, so good luck, man. All right. Oh, I forgot to roll for him being drowsy. Well, I rolled for him being drowsy and got a 4, so he does it anyway.
Awesome. Mikey, you could work on your lullabies.
I'm doing my best over here, okay? It's a big guy. Big, angry guy. That is the Gyarados' turn, though, as it is then back to Tiny Tim, who is going to pull out Rotom, who is in the form of a speedboat motor and attaches itself to the back of his chariot. He's like, all right, let's go and actually help these guys. And so he's going to go over here as they continue ganging up on Lawrence.
Girl shouts behind him, cop out!
That is what he's doing, as then the Trubbish just goes to shoot off some trash at the Caracosta.
What would you do for a Caracosta? How much is the cost?
He misses with a 4, though. Goes to use a sludge bomb, but it just into the water. As Tiny Tim goes over there, Lauren says, all right, look, I don't think this is quite fair. It's 3 of you and 1 of me, so how's about I'll get out another one of my friends?
Yeah, that's right.
And he sends out a big prehistoric-looking fish.
Nice. A Phoebus.
It is not a Phoebos, actually.
That's the only one I know.
He sends out a Relicanth. Big old fish who is next to him, and both Caracosta and the Relicanth are going to use ancient power, more so trying to sever the connection between these Pokemon and their chariots here. With a 10 from Caracosta and a 9 from Relicanth. Bob's chariot is separated from the Quagsire that was pulling him around, and it looks as though the Whalmer is getting a little shaky here.
Aw.
It's got like one of the 2 reins that it's attached to detached from it. So these ancient power attacks hit the Pokemon, but also specifically Lawrence is aiming for the reins because he knows these guys are just floating in the water if they aren't able to use their chariots. So that's what Lawrence does. Meanwhile, for Bob and Thwomp, Bob's Electrode goes to try to use another Charge Beam. That one's going to hit with a mixed success and hits Caracosta, as that is the one who attacked him. And then Gyarados is actually looking not too great from those big electric attacks. And then Swalot goes to try to use a Sludge Bomb at the Relicanth.
I love that these sludge bombs are still trying to be a thing.
But with a 6, the Relicanth has dove back under the water.
I love it.
This ancient rocky-looking fish is back under the water and out of the way, and it does not find purchase. Back at the top, Pearl, you are on Sealy currently. What do you want to do as Coconut is flying up above?
I want to try to catch Shift Tree.
Okay, you want to try to snag the Shift Tree?
Yeah, because it just got hit, right?
Yeah, it just took a big hit.
Yeah, I want to try to snag it.
Okay, go ahead. Which ball are you trying to use?
I'm going to use a netball.
Go ahead and roll to catch Pokemon with this net ball.
I'm snagging. Yeah, I'm snagging. All right. I've got an 8.
You toss the net ball, which makes contact with the Shift Tree atop the back of this Gyarados. You have Sealy swim around the side here so you can get a clearer shot as she's maneuvering through the big waves and stuff. And with your 8, you have a -2 as it is a B3 Pokemon. You have +1 because it is below 50% health. And you've got an extra +1 as it is suffering from a status effect at the moment. So all in all, it evens out to your 8. So as you throw this ball, the Shift Tree gets sucked into it for a moment as it falls. It shakes once and twice, but then it bursts back out.
Man, I've gotten really bad at catching Pokemon lately.
That is your turn then. That will then take us to your dad, who is right here in a kerfuffle with Waylon. What's he gonna do? He's got Ludicolo here, so is he just gonna stay engaged with Waylon?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, go ahead and roll for Ludicolo to, let's go Giga Drain.
That's a 9.
A flat 9 will get him to a full success with his stats, so excellent. That is going to be, let's see, a good little chunk of damage to the Sharpedo there. A big hit with the Giga Drain, and if Muscle Man had lost any health already, he'd get it back, but he was still at full at the moment. That is what happens on Ron's turn as Party Pete is trying to maneuver around and give Muscle Man the Ludicolo this clear shot. That is Ron's turn, which takes us to Waylon, who is going to have this Sharpedo. Oh, well, let's see what you're going to do here. First of all, we're going to see, it's going to depend on if the Shift Tree stays confused or not.
Yeah.
Shift Tree hurts itself in its confusion, so is looking even worse now. And since the Shift Tree is unable to act, he just, with a snarl, looks at the Ludicolo, and the Sharpedo leaps out of the water to try to chomp down with an Ice Fang on Muscle Man. That's going to be a full success.
Oh, no.
Dealing a big chunk of damage from those awful sharky teeth.
I feel so bad.
As the Sharpedo lunges out of the water, it snatches Ludicolo in the teeth and then drags him into the water as they leap over the ship. And now Ludicolo is in the water. His chariot is on the other side of the SS Wave Smasher right now. And Muscle Man's in a bad spot.
Yeah.
The damage was not super effective, but he is in the jaws of a big nasty boy. Muscle Man is in the water. It is then Luca's turn. What would you like for Luca to do? Tarzan is currently atop the back of the Mega Gyarados, facing the confused Shift Tree.
I'm thinking about having him do X Scissor Strong Style.
X Scissor Strong Style against
The Gyarados.
Cool. Yep, he can absolutely do that.
Cool.
Go ahead and roll to hit.
That's a 12.
Natural 12?
Yeah, 2 6s.
Oh
Boom.
no. Oh no.
That's good. We need to make some progress here, folks.
Oh yikes. Okay.
This is
critical
exciting.
strong
This
style.
Is exciting.
That's gonna be not pleasant.
This
Okay.
is exciting.
Go ahead. Oh my gosh, yikes. All right, critical, strong style, X scissors. So you just see as Tarzan wields these two blades, he just with this X motion, like center of the back, right in just some kind of pressure point of the Alpha Mega Gyarados, slices down with this critical strong style as he just stands his ground. Satile! go ahead and roll 12d6 because it was 6d6 from the strong style and then doubled the dice for the critical.
Wow, what do you mean 66?
So it's 3d6 for the damage normally plus stuff, but so doubled because of the strong style is 6d6. And then you do that extra because it was a crit.
Okay.
Because you rolled double the dice damage for the crit. So
I'm scared. 32?
32 from the dice plus Tarzan's attack, which is 8. So 40 base damage.
Cool.
40 minus its defense is going to be 35 double to 70 super effective points of damage.
Way to go, Luca. We all just are like, oh.
That is a ton of damage right there in the center. And as it knocks the Gyarados down to a certain threshold here, it goes into an absolute frenzy.
No.
Hello, friends. Jonah here to say thank you for listening to Postcards from Pearl. It is so nice to be posting a new episode. We started getting into a groove again, and then I did a show. But now that show is closed, and I have some free time back. I miss the Kanoko region. I hope you're enjoying this big battle as much as I enjoyed running it. Let's do these announcements so we can get back to it. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about our fabulous partner, Dice Envy. It is October, so this week check out their new Pumpkin Dice Latte set. It is a 10-piece resin set in their coffee mold featuring sprinkles of gold glitter, a luscious swirl of gold micro glitter, and just a hint of nutmeg. You can get 10% off of your purchase at Dice Envy by going to diceenvy.com/questco or by using the promo code QuestCo at checkout. That's QUESTCO for 10% off of your entire order. If you're a fan of what we do here on Quest Company Jr. and you want to help us out, please go to our page on the Apple Podcast app or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts and leave us a rating and review. It is a huge help to us, and we read every review that comes in. If you really love what we do here at Quest Company Jr. and you want to take that next step in supporting us, please consider becoming a Patreon subscriber. For as little as $2 a month, you can help us with necessary expenses, help us continue to improve the quality of the show, and get access to exclusive content and patron rewards. If you'd like to give us that support, you could do so at patreon.com/questcompanypodcast. You can find the link to the Patreon on our website, questcompanyjr.com. If you'd like to contact us, you can do so directly through our website or by finding us on Instagram at QuestcoJr. Also, I hadn't mentioned it, but if you've tweeted at us or X'd us or whatever they're calling it now anytime recently, we're not ignoring you. We're just not really on there anymore. So the only social media that we're checking these days is Instagram. If that changes, we'll let you know. But you can connect with us in our Quest Company Discord and get all the latest updates on our game Pocket Monster Fight. That link is available over on our website. We know that word of mouth is the best way to get people listening to a new podcast, and that's especially true for independent shows like ours, so we would love to see you posting about the podcast and telling your friends about us. If we see you posting fan art using hashtag QuestcoJr or hashtag Postcards from Pearl, you might get a character named after you on the show. And if you or your kids have fan art of the podcast you want to share, just make sure when you post it to tag us so that we can see it. And to wrap things up, I'd like to take a moment to thank the amazing artists whose music is featured in this episode. Thank you to FoolBoyMedia for the song Video Game Land. Thanks to Pokénerd Scott for the original track, Something Nasty This Way Comes, Large and in Charge, Fighting in a Lucid Dream, Casting Shadows Everywhere, and Brawlin with the Bunch. Thank you to Zame for Battle Mirror B Remastered, Pokemon Colosseum Normal Battle Remastered, and Catch Wild Pokemon Go Remaster. And thank you to GlitchxCity for Battle Aqua Ripley, Hoenn Weather Trio Remix, and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Penny Battle Theme Remix. And thank you to TabletopAudio.com for providing the ambient sounds. That's all for me, so let's get back to the action and see how this big battle shakes out. Thank you for joining us here at Quest Company Jr. The Gyarados is in absolute rage mode as you have knocked it down to a certain point with that critical strong style attack.
No.
The Mega Stone that seems to be lodged in its forehead is just glowing even brighter. And it is unhappy, and it is going to, well, first of all, it is still technically drowsy on this last turn.
Wow.
That is a 4, though, so he's going to stay up. And it is going to use Hurricane on Tarzan.
Oh, no.
That is a 13 total from its 9. So that is going to be... Oh, as it uses it, Strong Style. Of course.
Of course. That's what I just did. Love to see it.
I forgot that I'd checked the little boxes to indicate that it knows its moves in the Strong Style.
Oh, gosh.
As that's going to be a base of 63 points of damage.
Yikes.
Minus his defense of 3, so 60 points, double to 120 super effective points of damage from the Hurricane.
Oh, my God.
The Gyarados is in a frenzy and deals 120 points of damage to Tarzan.
Oh, my word.
But he's not knocked out.
No, he's not.
And he's not confused because it wasn't a natural 10, but it hurt.
It hurt.
It hurt. That was the Gyarados' turn. It is then going to be Tiny Tim over here as this whole crew is engaged with one another. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a roll-off between the baddies and
Our one good guy.
and Lawrence here. But, yeah, it's 3 grunts versus a gym leader, so, you know, it's fine. But here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to roll off with you. You can roll on behalf of Lawrence. We'll just do a flat roll for both and see who's gotten the upper hand. Yeah, just 2d6 each.
7.
7. Roll again.
9.
4. Lawrence is competently, it's like this is his home turf or something, is moving around and going about the business of trying to separate these Pokemon from the chariots so that the others are unable to get around as well. And he does so successfully without Caracosta being hit by another big electric attack from the Electrode. That's what's happening down on just the bottom part of initiative there, since they're all together. We'll focus in our groups. Then we are back up to the top with Pearl.
So, do I have to take the stone out in order to capture this thing?
It is up to you. You can try to remove the stone. You can try to just capture it as is. You don't necessarily have to capture it, but you are aware that removing the stone is theoretically the way to stop it.
I just feel like while it's in a frenzy, that's not a good idea.
It is up to you. The Mega Stone atop its forehead is glowing intensely at the moment. While you're waiting and deciding, I almost forgot that since it is now in its frenzy, it has a second turn at the top of initiative. So technically, before
right.
you can act here,
I shall think about it.
before you have a moment, it's going to shoot off a strong style Dark Pulse at Coco. That is going to be a mixed success with an 8. With that strong style Dark Pulse that it launches at Coco while it is in its frenzy, that is going to be a base of 42 on its mixed success. So minus 6 is going to be 36, double to 72 points of damage to Coconut. What do you want to do?
I do not like that. I do not like that.
Can I get like a read on this Pokemon to see if it's even catchable right now?
You can discern traits as an extra action if you would like.
To do that.
All right.
Logic? Oh, well then that's just a 6.
A 6.
Can I use my mixed success?
You can, in fact, use
I would
your
like
mixed
to use my
success.
mixed success in this moment.
All right. With a mixed success, then, as you do that, you can ask one of the questions from the Discern Traits list. So, is there anything in particular that you're hoping to learn? Do you want to know, like, how much health it's got left? What you looking for?
I'm looking for either like what would I need to roll to catch this thing? Is that possible? Or if I wanted to take out the stone right now, is that possible?
All right, I'll tell you that since it does seem to be in low health in this frenzy and everything, since it is like a top tier big boy, you would need to come out with a full success to catch it, with all that entails, pluses and minuses wise.
I'm gonna try to catch it.
Okay, you're gonna try to catch it. What are you tossing at him?
I'm using a timer ball.
Okay, a timer ball.
It's a +1 for every 2 rounds of battle.
Okay, so I believe that gets us +2 for where we're at right now, I do believe. All right, so cool. Go ahead and roll to catch it.
I didn't.
Okay.
It's just a flat 7.
A flat 7. Okay. You throw this timer ball at the Mega Gyarados here, who does not even get sucked into it. As it hits the head, you actually kind of try to throw it near the Mega Stone, but the energy that is coming from the Pokeball does not seem to penetrate some sort of barrier of the Mega Stone, and the ball just falls into the water. So that is your turn then. Are you having Coconut maneuver around anywhere or do anything as he's flying up in the zone?
Having Coconut run away.
Okay, so Coconut just kind of retreating back towards where you're at.
Please.
Okay, as you are over to the side of the Gyarados there. Meanwhile, it then takes us to Ron's turn, who's like, come on, Muscle Man, you got to get out of there. Tell you what, while you're there, Giga Drain. So as he is in the gaping maw of the Mega Sharpedo, Muscle Man the Ludicolo is going to try to Giga Drain. Go ahead and roll for Muscle Man.
9 flat.
9 flat plus his stuff is going to get him to a full success. So, as that is a super effective move, that is going to take the Sharpedo out of the mix for now. Go ahead, make a agility roll for Muscle Man. Just give him a +1.
11.
And 11. As Muscle Man is in the mouth of the Sharpedo, he just Ludicolo puts his hands on the Sharpedo and just holds on to a couple of the spikes and just is draining this energy from him, regaining power from where he's gotten hit by this icy fang. Ugh! And then as these spikes actually begin to recede from the Sharpedo, it appears that it is going out of its mega state as its life force is being drained here. With your 11, Muscle Man the Ludicolo grabs the gem that has been attached atop the dorsal fin of the Sharpedo and pulls it off.
Wow,
as it then
powerhouse.
releases it from its jaws. The Ludicolo is now bobbing like a buoy in the water. As Waylon goes into full retreat mode from that.
Good.
Way to go, Ron.
Yeah, nice one.
Super effective moves will do that to you. So the Sharpedo is not knocked out fully, but it is in enough of his face where it can try to get away. So they begin sprinting away. Not as fast as it was before.
Nice.
That's Ron's turn, though, as Waylon is going and zipping around here. He actually just shouts out to Bob Thwomp and Tiny Tim, Barrel, we gotta get out of here. The job's busted. We're done. Get out. That is what he's doing in full retreat mode over here. Meanwhile, that'll take us to Luca.
Luca's gonna try and catch it.
Oh, shoot. Well, I can't take it back now. I forgot that his shift tree's still on the back of the Gyarados.
Perfect.
Oh, no.
Perfect.
He's already all the way over here. He's turning around. He's like, oh, crud. Oh, actually, hold on. No, wait. But he's already moved off quite a ways, but he's going to try to circle back around.
It's like shift tree.
Shift tree. Oh. That was totally on me, but I'm not going to take it back.
That was great.
Okay, so it's Luca's turn. The Gyarados is rampaging. It seemed as though getting the Sharpedo down to a certain amount of health allowed him to remove it. But what do you want for Luca to do?
I want Luca to catch it.
You want Luca to catch the Gyarados or the shift tree that's on the Gyarados?
Gyarados, man. I want him to do it.
Okay, Luca is going to attempt to catch the Gyarados.
He can hit him with a thunder punch.
I mean, he can try to catch it if you want. It's up to you.
No. Tarzan will die, and he will go out on glorious thunder punch.
Okay, he's going to Thunder Punch. Okay, so that is not a strong style or anything. It's not a mastered move that he's got.
It's
so
a
it's
normal
just a regular
Pokemon moment.
Okay, go ahead and roll to hit with the Thunder Punch.
That's a 9.
A 9. Okay, 9 total.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he's just going to roll a flat 3d6 then.
Oh my gosh, that was such good damage.
And you can roll twice and take the higher if it matters.
It was 12. It's 16.
We're going to go with 16.
Okay, base 16. So that's going to be 11 doubled to 22 super effective points of damage. Nice. That is his main action there. It is still up. He can use an extra action agile style move if you would like.
Absolutely. X's are agile.
Okay, an agile style X scissor. Go ahead and roll 2 hit.
9 again.
9. Okay, so that is going to be 2d6.
7.
Again, it's a flat 2d6 because it's a mixed success. So that is going to be not as much. That's only 2 double to 4 super effective points. So all in all, 26 points of damage as a weary Tarzan is still wailing away at this thing with his leafy blades and his dual swords.
In the eye of the hurricane, there are Tarzans. They are slicing with many leaves.
The frenzying Gyarados goes to use another hurricane on the Pokemon that are atop its back. Roll 1d6. Odds is Tarzan, evens is Shiftry. All right, Tarzan. That is an 11 total. Oh, pretty poor damage, though.
In the eye of the hurricane, Tarzan's dying. We don't know if he'll make it out alive.
Wow, that's actually really rough. That's only going to be 33 points base.
Whoa.
So 30 after his defense, but it is super effective, so it's 60 points.
And Tarzan's dying. He's dead now.
This whipping wind of the hurricane whoosh, gets Tarzan and just tosses him out into the water. And as he lands, Luca says, "Oh no, Tarzan!" And he pulls him back into his Pokeball. Who does Luca send out next?
LOL Ollie.
Ollie the Eevee. Ollie the Eevee hops atop the back of the
What a
Gyarados.
horrifying moment.
Luca pulls up on
This
the...
little baby Eevee's like, where am I? Papa, why you put me here?
Luca's like, "Hey, you could do that Eevee thing where you mug stuff right here." And so he pulls up on the side of the Mega Gyarados, and Ollie the Eevee just looks very nervously, but Eevee hops onto the Gyarados' back. That was the Gyarados' turn as it continues its frenzy. As they've received the word to bail, Tiny Tim, Bob, and Thwomp begin to make their exit. The Whalmer and Quagsire, who are not attached to the chariots anymore, are just kind of floating there like, "What's up?" But they pull them back into those Pokeballs really quick as Tiny Tim then just swings by both of them and they latch on. And with the Rotom motorboat pulling them, they are making their exit, albeit a bit slow because Rotom is carrying all of them at once. But they are retreating.
Later, scaredy cats.
That is what's happening with them. Lawrence then goes over here to try to intercept Waylon, and just with this Aqua Jet goes to slam and separate the chariot from the reins of the Sharpedo. That is a natural 9, so all in all, Caracosta just like puts its fins up and slices down. The chariot stops abruptly as Waylon continues moving forward. I'm going to make a tough it out plus agility roll for Waylon here. He is barely hanging on the dorsal fin of the now regular Sharpedo and attempting to hold on as they're going back towards his shadowy Shiftry so he can recall it while the other grunts here are retreating.
Wow. I gotta give him points.
But Lawrence is now getting ready to circle around in pursuit of him. That is going to take us back up to the top with the rampaging Gyarados here.
Hit me.
I wanna know.
The Shiftry at this point also, I have neglected to mention, rolled 3s and 1s on its confusion rolls. So is looking very bad and has just been stumbling about on the back of this Gyarados.
Slip sliding away. It's like a little water slide for that guy.
Since Coconut is still out here and the Shiftry is on its back, I don't even know if Ollie is big enough that it has registered that Ollie is there.
Yeah, love that for
So
Ollie.
go ahead and roll 1d6. Odds is Coconut, evens is the Shiftry.
Odd.
Coconut.
Coco.
Another Violet Dark Pulse with a full success of a strong style Dark Pulse from the Gyarados. Oh my, oh my.
No.
I'll just go ahead and tell you, after Coconut's defense, it's a base Let's see. Okay, 52 after Coconut's defense. So all in all, 104 points of damage to Coconut as just
What?
this
What?
raging, strong style dark pulse.
Fun fact, Coconut had 16 points.
So Coconut is knocked out by the rampaging Gyarados, who's shooting off these massive, almost on legendary status levels of energy from it. As Coconut's knocked out, who do you want to send in to begin your next turn as we're coming back up to the top?
Thinking Elmer.
Elmer? Cool.
Yeah.
All right, you send out Elmer on your turn, and what are you going to do?
I'm going to have Elmer use Yawn.
Yawn. Nice.
Yeah.
In the eye of a hurricane.
Let's get sleepy. Take a little nap. That one's for you, Ollie.
So she goes to use Yawn, and the Gyarados will be drowsy at the end of its next turn. Go ahead and roll 1d6 to see how many turns it'll be drowsy for once it is.
6.
Nice.
Yeah, Elmer.
Sweet. All right, that is your main action then with Elmer. Is that all for you?
Yeah.
Great. Whereabouts of the Gyarados is she flying right now?
She's flying towards its little head.
Flying towards its little head. Very
Not
nice.
a little head.
She, the little one, is flying toward its massive,
Planet
unpleasant head. That is your turn then, which is going to take us to Ron, who is also going to try to just insert himself after he picks Muscle Man up out of the water here. Party Pete wheels around and he puts himself in between you and Waylon here.
And he says, no one damages my boat and gets away with it.
Nobody scratches my boat, buckaroo, and nobody messes with my daughter.
Yeah, okay.
And Ludicolo is going to shoot off an energy ball, so go ahead and roll to hit.
An 8 flat.
8 flat. Boom! The energy ball makes contact with the Sharpedo, who is barely going now, and it also hits Waylon a little bit as he's knocked about. And it seems like Waylon has a tough choice to make here coming up. As it is Waylon's turn, go ahead and... No, I mean, I'm going to roll. I'm going to roll because it's Waylon.
Yeah, you should.
But Waylon is just going to roll to see how dedicated he is to getting this shift tree back, or if he's going to bail. All right.
I'll be curious to know.
If he rolls a 7 or higher, he'll come after it. It's a flat roll. He rolls a 5. He bails.
Oh, he bails.
Waylon bails. On the Sharpedo, which is banged and bruised and barely able to even keep swimming, he turns tail and leaves Shift Tree to whatever fate it will meet atop the Gyarados.
Wow, that's so cruel.
That is Waylon's turn, though, as Sharpedo is full movement, extra action rush, main action rush, just booking it away as much as he can. Battered and bruised and going to lick his wounds. Sorry about it, bud.
But are we really?
It's that sarcastic. Sorry about it, bud. Sorry, not sorry. But that's what Waylon does. It is then Luca's turn as Ollie the Eevee has now just sort of popped up on top of the Gyarados here. What's he gonna do?
Luca's gonna say, Eevee, you see your friend Elmer? Pretend that it's just a little slide. And Ollie's gonna try to use Covet and get the stone out of this thing.
All right, so he's going to try to use Covet. Okay. He's trying to do it specifically to...
The stone.
With his goal being getting the stone. Okay, so then what he's going to do then...
Ollie, look, shiny.
Normally, since Covet just automatically gets a held item, because this thing is like fused into the head, if Ollie hits, he'll then be able to make a check to attempt to get it out. But go ahead and roll to hit with Covet first.
Great. That's a 9.
A 9. Okay, a mixed success. So just roll 2d6 plus 2.
8.
8. Okay, 8. So that's just going to come out to 3 points of damage. Not a ton there, but go ahead and now make a agility roll to see if he can lodge it out from the Gyarados. He needs a full success.
Booyah. An 11 plus 3.
Nice. A 14. All right, so Ollie the Eevee atop the Gyarados.
Elmer's just flying around cheering him on.
Yes, with the distraction that is Elmer as the Gyarados
Yeah.
is getting sleepy here. Ollie just
Eevee!
Just dislodges the Mega Stone that's embedded in the forehead of the Mega Gyarados.
Can it jump on in Elmer's arms?
Yes, and Elmer goes to catch him, but is struggling to stay up a little bit because they are the same size.
Holds by the tail.
Yeah, as the Gyarados comes out of its mega form, the fins go back to its normal shape. It's still massive because it's an alpha, but it goes back to its normal shape and it looks very woozy and drowsy after that. On its turn, it goes to, as the weather is also calming down and it's becoming sleepy and is no longer in its rampage so much, but is barely up and moving at all, it goes to shoot off a thunderbolt just towards Elmer.
I imagine Shift Tree is just having like a pineapple drink on the back of this guy's
Yes.
body.
The thunderbolt is going to hit Elmer.
Oh no!
It's not a thunderbolt, it's just thunder,
No!
which is worse.
Hey Elmer! I think you need to be ready to fly down now. No, don't worry about Ollie. Ollie can swim.
So that's going to be 32 minus
yeah.
Elmer's special defense, which is 3. So that is going to be 29 doubled to 58 points of damage.
We got a Humpty Dumpty situation! Swim, Sealy!
Order! As Elmer gets hit with this strong style thunder, even though the Gyarados is not quite at the same power level that it was, it shoots that damage off. But it's not getting the extra damage boost from being Mega Evolved anymore, so that's good for you. At the end of its turn, it is now fully drowsy and in a rough spot. Also, that then takes us, as Lawrence continues chasing off the Team Nasty members to make sure that they do not interfere any further, that will then take us back to the top as they have all fled and are now out of the scene here. Back up at the top, Gyarados does not have another turn because it's not frenzying anymore and it is now drowsy. So Pearl, it takes us to you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I do get Elmer out of the ocean.
Okay, you do.
I swear, Dad, I know how to catch a Pokemon. I would like to try to catch this Pokemon.
You're gonna try to catch the Gyarados.
Yay!
Okay, go ahead and roll to catch.
I'm using a net ball.
Okay, a net ball. Go ahead and roll.
8.
An 8. Okay, it is below 10% health and suffering from a status effect, so that's +3. It is no longer a B4, it's a B3 again because it is no longer Mega Evolved at the moment. So you get a +1, so a 9 there, and then +2 from the net ball, as it is a water type Pokemon, and the net ball gives you +2. So it comes out to an 11 as you throw this Pokeball at the Alpha Gyarados. It gets sucked up into it, and boom, this buoyant net ball falls into the water as it shakes once, twice, a third time, and clicks.
Woo, guys, we made it!
The Shiftry then falls into the water and begins flailing about as it is not a super strong swimmer.
Okay,
But-
what happens next?
Well, that is your turn. Technically, after that, we would have Ron and Waylon in initiative, but Ron doesn't really have anything to do, and Waylon has at this point bailed.
He got out of there. He vamoose.
He made his choice due to his / my, mostly my, neglect of the shift tree, but it's canon now. He's just, I mean, he's a Team Nasty admin. Obviously, he's a very selfish man.
He is.
Self-preservation
he
is
would leave
key
a
number
Poke
one.
behind.
Ugh, you hate to see it. Shift Tree especially hates to see it as it is flapping its leafy fan hands and trying to stay afloat. It will then take us to Luca. So what is Luca going to do?
Luca's gonna try to catch it.
Okay, Luca is going to try to snag that Pokemon.
Snag that Pokey!
Cool. What kind of ball is he using?
Let me check his inventory. A great ball.
Okay, classic Great Ball. Go ahead and roll to catch Pokemon.
Okay. A 10 flat.
Flat 10. You love to see it.
Plus his instinct, 13.
It's not plus his instinct,
Plus his
but
agility, 12.
it's not plus his stat.
Plus his logic, 11. I'm adding all over the place. Just call me a calculator.
It doesn't add any of his stats, but he does take a -2 because of the tier that it's at. But aside from that, he's got a +2 because it's at very low health.
So
it's
back at
also
10?
been confused.
Yes.
It's
11.
also, I'm going to count it flailing in the water and the fact that it can't swim as falling under the surprise grappled or pinned requirement there.
Yeah.
It's also a +1 from the Great Ball and a +1 because it is part dark type,
And
which is one of his favorite types.
Another +1 because if he can't swim, we don't want him to go down. So he's just not fighting it.
So all in all, definitely comes out to, I think, over a 12. It's definitely a full success. So as he throws the Great Ball into the water, it hits the shadowy Shiftry, who looks confused for a minute with its big old Pinocchio nose, and is like sucked into the Pokeball as it boom, like a buoy in the water. It shakes once, shakes twice, shakes a third time, and clicks.
You guys, we did it!
As Luca snags the Shiftry and you have captured the Alpha Gyarados.
How's the weather looking?
The weather is looking clearer. But that's where we'll end this episode.
Wow. I can see clearly now the Gyarados is gone. I can see all the clouds that are in my way. Oh, no, it should be, I can see clearly now the Gyarados is gone. I can see Team Nasty isn't in my way.
I thought you were going to say, I can see Team Nasty has run away.
Oh, that was good too, Luca.
Thank you. I decided that it was going to be me about halfway through that.
It's gonna be bright, Pearl and Luca day. Hit it, Dad! Electric guitar slams out of the back of the boat.
Me and Party Pete are just playing electric guitar and bass riffs, Peanut.
I feel like Party Pete does have some maracas, though. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, Muscle Man has the maracas.
All right, Muscle Man has the maracas. That's perfect. And
Party Pete's slapping the bass.
That's some bonus content for the end. Shifttree's design is very challenging for me.
Yeah, why's that?
A lot of things I can't say in this podcast. I think it really comes down to the shoes.
The shoes?
It's very interesting.
It's got kind of like little, I think they're supposed to be like ninja shoes.
Yeah, they look like little Guten Tag Kloppers.
To Postcards from Poor and Quest Company Jr.
Postcards from Pearl is a fan-made podcast and is not affiliated with Nintendo, Game Freak, or the Pokemon Company.